Howdy, folks. This is Doctor McFarland. It is the last live stream of 2025 here on December 30th at 4:03 ish p.m. Central Time. So, what we're doing here today is basically talking about the gear of 2025, whether that's brand new gear or just gear that's been around for a while that got some updates. And I want you to tell me in the chat or in the comments what was your favorite gear of this year. And I'm going to try and stop saying words that keep rhyming together, like year and gear and stuff like that. So, as I was saying, I have the Fractal FM9 right over here to my right. And I have bought and sold Fractal stuff for the better part of at least 2 years. And I know what it was, really. It was like I have too much money tied up in one piece of gear when I could be using that money for something else, right? But at the end of the day, the reason why I ended up buying another FM9, I got it brand new from Fractal. Though right now, at least at the time, they did have a $100 discount, so I got it for $15.99 instead of $16.99, whatever it was, or maybe it was $17.99 brand new, and it was down to 16 or something. Oh shoot. Your name is Richard. Rick, Richard, Rodney. Does it start with an R? It's got to start with an R. You got to be Richard. You got to be. Roy. No. What other R names are there? Rapunzel. No, it's not Rapunzel. Rumpelstiltskin. I'm going to remember your name one of these days. Yes, Richard. Okay, I got it the first time. Just keep showing up to the live streams, and I'll remember your name eventually. So let's go over to the browser here. So this is the AM4. This was pretty huge. I mean, the Stadium XL and Stadium announcement back over the summer, I think back in July, it was pretty huge. I mean, getting a brand new Helix unit with, who cares about showcase and the cloning and the proxy and all the other stuff. You got a brand new Helix that has way more DSP, and you have a touchscreen. For Helix users that's been waiting and seeing all these other units come out over the years, like Headrush, Quad Cortex, Toemaster Pro, some of the smaller brands have had touchscreens on them. The new Boss GX100, it's not brand new, but it's been around for a few years. That has a touchscreen on it. So it's just, that's what you're expecting nowadays in 2025 going into 2026 is Maulers just need to have a touchscreen. And here comes Fractal introducing they used to have the AX8, which is really cool, and then the FX8. And now, well, after that, they came out with the XFX rack unit. Then they had the FM series, which is the FM9, which has 9 foot switches. And then the FM3, which has 3 foot switches, obviously. And now you have an AM4 that only has 4 blocks per channel or per preset. But each one of those blocks does have 4 channels per block. So you could have an amp block, but it's really not just one amp. It's really 4 different amps or 4 of the same amp, just with different iterations or different knob settings or whatever you want it to be, right? Same can go for your drive. You could have a Tube Screamer on channel A and then a Klon on channel B. You could have a trying to think of that brand. What is that brand? Full Tone, thank you. Full Tone OCD. Just for examples. Then let's say you wanted like a Jam Ray or a MOSFET something, or a tube driver by that Eric Johnson uses, or just whatever, right? There's tons and tons and tons of overdrive options in the Fractal, and you're not getting skimped at all in the AM4 just because it's a smaller unit. You get the full DSP, well, not full DSP, but you get all the amp channels, all the drives, all the delays, reverbs, stuff like that. And what I've seen on the Facebook groups is a lot of guys, they are putting the AM4 on a small pedal board like a Rock board Trace 3.1 or 3.0 or just, pedal train type. All right. I contemplated not even trying this, but we're going to try one more time. I just ran a speed test for my internet, and it said my internet's fast. So, really sorry about what is going on here. Richard says, I've had the AM4 about 3 weeks, and it's really nice. Yeah, I can see that. The AM4 should sound amazing because it's really just a fractal in the smaller package. So, if you like the Axe-FX 3, but you can't afford the $2,500 to pay for it, then maybe $700 for the AM4 is just right up your alley. And like what I've seen other people do, you essentially just you could add your own drive pedals before, or you can add your own wet effects afterwards if you wanted to. I mean, I don't know. Whatever you feel like you need to do. I'm liking this picture right here, and I could set this up on the FM9 real fast as well. So let's just say, for example, let me go here. Then I make sure I bring up the FM9 edit. Hopefully this will show up correctly. Maybe it will, maybe it won't. Let's add this. Let's change it to FM9 edit. Okay. Now, if you're not aware, I don't want this on there. If you're not aware, I have already begun a new channel for the fractal content called Fractal Audio Systems Weekly. It will be a one video a week, at least one video a week, but more than likely just one video a week channel. So there's going to be 52 videos this next year, and it's all going to be about fractal stuff. So if you're interested in that, then definitely check it out. So what we're going to do, just for fun and because we can, you can currently see that I have a long list of things in this fractal preset. But let's go ahead and go to a brand new one. I'll go ahead and save this real fast. All right, so we have an empty slot. So what we're going to do is we're going to recreate. How do I do this here? We're going to recreate what an AM4 does. Hopefully. So we got my input block, right? So I'm going to right click and choose input. This is going to be input number 1. Then I'm going to have the drive. So drive 1. And then we're going to have an amp 1. And then just like on the picture, we're going to have delay 1. And then let's go add one more shunt. Actually, 2 more. So that way we can add our output. Now within the AM4, you already have an input and an output block, so you don't technically have to add one. They're just already there. Or you already have 4 blocks to choose from anyway. What am I doing? I'm finding the reverb. Okay, so reverb 1. All right, so I now have the same abilities as the AM4 essentially. And I can either see my channels. So you can go in, you can see amp channels, you can see scenes, you can see presets, you can see stomps, stuff like that. So if you wanted to turn on and off a drive, turn on and off a delay, turn on and off a reverb, you can do stuff like that. But the big kicker here is the channels. So you get 4 amp channels per block. And you can see right now that I have the Sir Badger 18, the Sir Badger 18 on B, again, which is a higher gain sound. I have the Archon channel C, then I have a Princeton reverb on D. Okay, now you can copy channel, so you can copy A to B, A to C, A to D, which is really cool. I got to figure out how to do that on the actual unit itself, because that seems like that's a functionality that is only on the editor, possibly, but maybe not. I might just do that. Do what? What did I say? I don't remember what I said or what you're referring to. What are you referring to? So what we have now is something like this. Oh, I know what else I need. One thing that you don't get. Well, I mean, you technically do get. We're going to do something like this. So we have to add a cab block. On the AM4, the amp and the cab are already built into the same block. So that's kind of cool that you get that functionality. So now we technically have to add an input, a cab, and an output. But the core 4 blocks of our sound are still the drive, amp, delay, and reverb. And that's solely just based on what you see in the picture on the website, right? You got drive, amp, delay, and reverb. Now, for you guys that really are you just using the amp as your drive sound, and you don't need a separate overdrive. What I've seen a lot of people do is this. So they'll take the drive or the amp, and then they'll change this to like a modulation. So let's go to modulator here. Actually, we want to go to tremolo. That's what I want to do, tremolo. Okay. So this is technically what I would probably do if I had an AM4, is use the amp block. And notice that in the preamp section, you can turn on and off a boost. Okay. You can also, where is it? There's other things in here. You can turn the saturation on or off, right? And then you can control the amount of saturation that's going on. So that's technically a good way to get around not having a drive block in your signal path. So you can say on channel A, I want a clean amp. Channel B, I want maybe the same amp, but with the preamp boost engaged, right? Channel D can be my higher gain amp, and then channel D can be the same higher gain amp with the preamp boost also engaged. So essentially, instead of having a clean amp and then turning on a separate drive, you can just insert the boost within the amplifier section and essentially accomplish the same thing, because you have a boost level and you have the boost type. You have all these different boost types here. Everything that I would choose anyway. So let's just check this out. So let's go choose a totally different amplifier. I don't even know what's happening right now. Oh, I gotta go here. Let's just keep this really simple. I've experimented with the Sir Badger 18 and the 30, and I mean they're both really good. This is a new amplifier that was in a recent update. And this is the Black Magic from Supro. And that's pretty nice stuff. So we'll go down here and bypass it. The Fractal Workshops. You're talking about my other channel, I guess? Yeah, I'll have full fractal content over on the other channel. I might even just. I'm really trying to have a no spend year in 2026 because I literally don't need anything else. Uh, but I may get an AM4 just to say I have one and I can do some content on it. But everybody and their grandma is already doing content on the AM4 anyway, so I'm not going to go out on a limb and say what I would do with it would be any different or any special, any more special than what anybody else could do. Richard, you could have your own channel talking about AM4 content if you wanted to. So, I think for me though, having the FM9 and limiting my options to only this right here allows me essentially to recreate the workflow of an AM4, but still have the ability to add more blocks down the road if I wanted to. Okay, and that's what you get. Because the FM3 you can only add one amp block, which the AM4 has. You can only add one reverb block, which the AM4 can only do, right? I'm sure you could add more than one delay block if you wanted to. But then at that point you're at 1 amp, one reverb, and then you got two delays, and then no option for a tremolo. So unless I really was trying to watch some Leon Todd videos or even some Brett Kingman videos to see if you could get some tremolo effect out of the amp block, and I couldn't really find a way to do it. Unless you wanted to add, I don't know, unless you add some kind of LFO controller to the amp block, volume, power amp, something. I mean, I don't know. Maybe there's a way to do. Because essentially, I mean, even the bias tremolo. I mean, this is what you're dealing with here. Check this out. So I think I just answered my own question. So yes, you could technically have an amp. You wouldn't really need a tremolo block in there because you already can get bias tremolo from the amp itself. I'll have to look at the amp block parameters. And if you have your AM4 nearby, Richard, I want you to look this up for me. Look at the power tubes section and see if there's a bias tremolo in there. And if there is, I'm pretty much good. I mean, I don't need chorus, I don't need flange, I don't need phase. Quite possibly the AM4 might be a very powerful unit that I could totally see myself using just for like small pick up and go type stuff. But I mean, honestly, the FM9 is not that much bigger. It's really not. You're maybe looking at like another. I don't know where my tape measure is, but you're probably looking at like another 6 inches. And by the time you add your own drives to a pedal board with a wah pedal or like a whammy pedal or some kind of expression pedal, and maybe another tuner, I mean, you're already at the width of an FM9 anyways. And I just don't want to go through the hassle of trying to figure out the power supply, what kind of board I'm going to put it on, what other drive pedals I want to add to it. It's just give me an FM9 and be done with it. So I think I've talked myself out of buying an AM4 at this point, honestly. But if you're brand new to Fractal and you only had $700 to spend and you wanted some killer tones, then yes, I would try. I would definitely try that out. Some Super amps do have tremolo built in, so maybe the Power Tubes bias tremolo is only on certain models. So let's go experiment with that. Let's go try the ODS 100. And no, the bias tremolo is still there, so that's pretty cool. Okay, we can maybe slow it down a little bit. There's some compression and some harmonics on the cathode follower. Okay, pretty cool. So all you people out there that have an AM4 and you want some tremolo without having to add a modulation block, then literally, this is what I would do. I would make a channel A for just clean. Maybe a channel B is your clean plus tremolo. So that's pretty cool. Then channel C could be the same clean amp, but now with a boost engaged. So for example, you can have this kind of thing go to your preamp section, turn on the boost. And also turn on your saturation switch. Bring up the saturation. Why is that not on? I don't hear much. I don't hear much saturation. There we go. Now, once you turn that on and you engage it, you're going to want to turn down your overall level, which is why you want to change channels and do this. Okay, let's go change the boost type to like a full OD. Stuff like that. Let's go try a super OD. Okay. There's different yeah, so there's different input boosts and saturation options in there. I'm going to turn this back up and then turn that off. I actually haven't messed with the Blackmagic amp so far since this came out, but it's really good. Alright, so since I know that I can add an amp or add the tremolo onto the amp, I am going to bring in a drive pedal just so I can have that extra flexibility. And then I was messing around with the Super OD, which is pretty good. The recent update added the Angry Chuck, which is the Angry Charlie from JHS. Okay, I really have no idea what my cab sound is. We definitely don't want a 1x4. I'm trying to remember how to change this. Let's just go to a Dynacab. Let's go to a... I wish I knew which of these actually had like a V30 in it. That's really what I'm after. Let's go to like the Cone Edge or the Cap Edge. Let's go to Dynamic. I'm going to go out on a limb and say Dynamic 1 is probably the SM57. Then Dynamic 2 is probably the MD421. Or maybe even like a 906, possibly. But what we can do is bring down the high cut and then bring up the low cut. Just to take care of any extraneous low end. Stuff like that. So, now that we've kind of dialed in our cab, let's turn back on the drive. And okay, stuff like that. And notice also that we have 4 different channels for the drive. So you can, like I said, you could have, let's go add a Tube Screamer, a T808 mod. Let's go to channel B. Let's make that the Nobles. Channel C can be our, where's our clone in here? They changed the names to protect the innocent, but honestly, I forget what they are. There's the Tone Kings, which is pretty good. We'll go with that. Then Channel D. I mean, really, all this stuff is really good. Like the Sunrise Splendor, that's the Morning Glory from JHS. I am looking. Klon Chiron is your Klon. So. So there's that. Andrew has a good question. Can't you Google the V30 model in the fractal amps list? Yes, you can. And I'll probably do that later. Maybe here in a second. Mark in the mix, what's up? Welcome back to the channel. I have really considered getting a VP4 to add to my X block on the Kemper, just to add a few more effects. Yeah, you could do that. I know in the recent Kemper update, that's another thing on the list is the Kemper. I do have the Kemper player back here, which I'm currently actively selling. I just don't need the Kemper stuff. I mean, it's good. I like it, but if I was going to get a Kemper again, then I would just get the floor unit itself. Typing is hard, my friend. Typing is hard. It really is. Yeah, the Kemper Stage came out with a Mark II version this year, and that was fun. I think it was late last year when the Kemper Player came out, and the whole different level debacle was in conversation, and it is what it is. If you're into profiling, then the Kemper stuff is still very good. You show up and play live, and nobody can tell the difference. As long as you're okay with the limitations of what the unit entails, essentially. That's kind of what you have to look at. Yeah, you're probably watching on your phone, I guess. Siri didn't know what Kemper is anyway. She's not hip to the whole Kemper community deal. Another plugin that came out recently. Sorry, I got a decent night's sleep. I'm just tired all of a sudden. The John Mayer Alchemist? No, the Alchemy Neural DSP plugin came out. And I do have that. Have I downloaded it on this computer? I'm not sure if I have. Let's go to Neural DSP. Let's check it out. No, I have the Fort and Cali on here. I have not downloaded that plugin yet, which is kind of funny. But I have used it on my work computer and my other laptop, and it sounds really good. I still play the same 3 licks that I've always played, but the Vibrolux amp that's on the John Mayer plugin is really good. And then obviously the Two-Rock and the Dumble amp have a certain vibe to them that sound really good. But hey, here's a secret: you can technically download the 14-day trial of the plugin, and then you can profile those sounds into your Kemper, or into your Headrush, or into your Quad Cortex, or into whatever else, and essentially have those amps. You can turn on different drive pedals and get those effects in combination with the amp, and then make a profile of that. So there's all kinds of different ways to get the Mayer sound without having, forking over money for the plug-in. But they kind of already knew that when they released stuff, and we have all this capture tech just sitting around. All the NAM stuff that's sitting around. Yeah, pretty cool. Speaking of, I have the Headrush core over here, which I recently repurchased after selling it earlier this year. I think late last year, early this year. I do have a Headrush Prime down here at my feet, which I do have on Marketplace for sale. If anybody is local and wants a Headrush Prime, it's a great unit, and I love Headrush, but I think the core is more than enough for what I need. And the Prime is just a big honking unit sitting on my floor, and I don't really need it there. So I will be putting the core. Excuse me. I'm going to put the core on the top of my rack over here. I think it's going to be a good spot for it. So I have the core on the rack, the Toemaster Pro still on the slide out tray, and then I'll have the Fractal FM9 on this little table over here I can kind of wheel around and do stuff with. The beginning of my stream was rudely interrupted by poor internet connection. So this is one of my latest acquisitions. I think last week on the stream, I introduced you to the Avocado Brothers, which is avocado green finishes on two of my Reverend guitars. And this is the latest Reverend. These have Nuevo 90 pickups, which are the same pickups in my Air Sonic, which is the all black guitar. But this one has a Bigsby, and I used to have a Reverend guitar with a Bigsby on it, and I was kind of stupid to sell that guitar to buy one of these with the Bigsby, and it had the Sunburst finish on there, which is really nice, and the really nice rosewood fretboard. Then I took the plunge. I was like, you know what? I need more Reverends in my life, and therefore I got a cool Reverend. So, okay, let's see. Clear this up for me, Doctor. Is it true that when Fractal doesn't update because they do many firmware updates, that it changes their presence? It changes your settings. No, I think all the settings are the same. It doesn't mess with all the presets you've already made or any of that. Now, if they do an update to an amp, then the amp might sound different, more different than it did before, even with the same settings. But, I mean, it's not going to be a night and day drastic difference, I don't think. And, it's pretty all straight, just like any other unit that I've ever used. When you do an update, it doesn't change anything, at least drastically. And you can continue playing your normal presets that you've worked tirelessly on. And, shouldn't be that big of a change. But not to my experience. I haven't seen anything about Fractal that, just like totally wipes your whole unit and loses all your content and all your settings. And I just haven't seen that. So I wouldn't worry about that if that's what you're worried about. If you are looking into getting some kind of Fractal unit. Another cool thing is my foot here. You can kind of see these are some open box toe shoes called a Zero Drop heel, and I've been having some right heel pain in my foot, like some plantar fascia type crap going on, at least for like a month or two, maybe more. And I think it's when my shoes, it's like these are your toes, your shoes like they push all your toes together, so that way it strains the muscle on the bottom of your foot. And when you have open box shoes. It allows your toes to spread out a little bit more and wiggle around. So I have my new shoes on now, and they're feeling pretty good. So I'm gonna try these out for a little bit, and hopefully my foot will start feeling better. Yes, presents. We all love presents or presets. I know what you mean. Um, so Fractal, in the land of Fractal, they had a pretty big update this year. We got drums in the last update, which is really cool. You can play along with drums and stuff, different styles, different tempos, and all that stuff. And they finally added a way to do auto engage on the expression pedal. So when you add a wall pedal in your chain or a whammy or stuff like that, as soon as you start moving your foot, it'll turn on, and then you can have it turn off either at the toe position or the heel position, or just when you stop. And that's very, very cool. And that's about 8 years in the making for me, because I've been requesting that for so long. And I'm really glad that Headrush finally added that feature. Also in the block mix section, I'm not getting enough oxygen to my brain or something. Something's going on here. In the block mix section of the Headrush block, before they added the input and output gain, and like a simple EQ type thing you can adjust on the screen. But now they've added a block mix, which allows you to do parallel compression, parallel, distortion on your bass guitar, stuff like that. And that's been a long time coming as well. I'm pretty happy about that. New amp capture options for the neural quad cortex has been released, like a V2 thing for them. V2 capture for Tonex has been released. We really just got big updates from everybody this year. But once again, I'm going to remind you guys, I want to hear from you. What's your biggest gear release or your favorite gear for 2025? I want to see it in the comments. The Fractal FM9 has drums. No, I was talking about the Headrush. The Headrush has drums. Fractal does not have drums. I wish it did. That'd be cool. All right, this is the this is the once again. Oh, that's that. Sure Badger, Archeon, Prince of Reverb. Let's go back and play the Supro Black Magic. Okay, so once again, going to the power tubes, turning up that bias tremolo. That's pretty sick. Maybe turn it down a little bit. I think having products like the AM4 out on the market really shows you the testament on how good your amp and different effects can sound while still being small and relatively inexpensive. Another comment earlier was the VP4 was released, and that is true. Let's go check out the VP4. Let's see here. Products. So VP4 stands for Virtual Pedal Board. Yes, it does. And this is legendary fractal audio effects in an easy to use floor unit. So this is cool, but once you spend the money for a VP4 and an AM4, you're essentially buying the equivalent of what an FM9 would be. But you still have to use, two different devices. You have to hook up the cables. You're gonna have to do some tap dancing if you want to synchronize. Hitting one switch on one unit, then having some effects change on the other unit. And to me, that's just not worth going down that road. It does say it's designed to work seamlessly with a traditional amplifier, and also excels at providing pre and or post effects with any modeler. So that's what you were talking about, Mark, adding the VP4 before the Kemper unit and doing stuff like that. Now you can choose your ideal setup and still enjoy Fractal Audio's legendary effects, vetted by the world's greatest guitar heroes. Now, if we look at the back here, we don't have options for like a effects loop. Okay, so what I could see this being is saying like, okay, I'm gonna have my Kemper player in the loop of a VP4, and therefore getting some drive and other effects before my amp, and then using some delays and reverbs after the amp or something like that, right? But essentially, if you're not using any compression or any of the pre-effects on the Kemper, especially the Kemper player, then you really just have to go guitar into input, then output into the input of the Kemper, and then the output of the Kemper to either your front of house or amplifier or FR speaker or audio interface, right? And that'd be a way to do it. I'm just always looking for ways to do. If I'm going to combine different gear, I want to do it in a 4-cable method type of way, to where I have the ability to move my amp up and down the chain if I need to. So once again, by the time you spend, let's go do some shopping here. By the time you spend the money, see, everything is $100 off right now, except for the AM4 and the VP4, which those are $50 off. So we're looking at the FM9 with the Turbo Edition with the bigger screens. That is $16.99. Still really, really good. Then if you take $649 and double that, you're like at $1,400. I can't even do math. Am I doing the math right? What am I doing here? $649 times 2. So $1,298. And then by the time you add tax and shipping, that's going to be easily $1,450 or so, somewhere in that ballpark. And for me, just this is my personal opinion, for me, I would rather spend the extra few $100s and just buy the FM9, even if it's brand new. And because I think I pay like 18 something after tax and after shipping for my FM9. And to me, that's worth the extra few $100s. I guess around $400 if you were going to go the VP4 and the AM4 route. And not have to daisy chain both together, not have to figure out your tap dancing stuff and how am I going to hook this one up into the next one, and just all that hassle. So I'm at this point in my life, I'm looking for units that can be all in one, that do not need any extra something to add on to it. Like even the FM3 and V6 or FC6 foot switch, Even that's too much. Like, I don't want to have to add something else. I'd rather spend, say, this package deal is $14.49. I'd rather spend the extra $300 and just get the FM9 and be done with it. You know. Now, if you're really concerned about plane rides and having to add, take things on trips and whatever else, I get it. You want something small that you can use. And if you're just jamming around in a hotel room or need something to write music with in a studio or whatever, then yes, the AM4 I think is more than enough for what you need. And yeah, I think it's interesting. It's an interesting world that we live in for sure. The new AM4 is $699. So, and the other one, the VP4 is $50 off, so it's $649. So there you go. Fractal or QC? To me, I didn't like the QC. So this is personal opinion time. Um, I felt like the QC was very expensive for what I was using it for. And for what I was using it for was just leaving it on my desk because I didn't like the power supply. I didn't like that it didn't have a IEC cable kind of power. And then also the foot switches were a little too close together. And therefore you didn't really have any room for scribble strips. And to get into gig view, there's not a way to push a switch to get into gig view. You have to bend over and like put it in the gig view just to see the scribble strips on the screen or the at least the foot switch layout on the screen. And there's other like workflow things I just didn't like. So with that in mind, yes, it does have a touch screen. Yes, it's really easy to use. But I would say at this point, QC versus Toemaster Pro, I would get the Toemaster Pro because it's slightly bigger. You have the same number of foot switches. You can still turn the switch like you can on the Quad Cortex to change parameters on the amps and effects. And it's literally not that much bigger, and it has scribble strips, and it has gapless switching, and it has literally the best of the best sounding reverbs and delays and whatever else. So, I personally could be very, very happy just using the Toemaster Pro. But I do appreciate and I really like the sounds of the Fractal units. So therefore, that's why I went ahead and bought another FM9. Because I like the functionality of the foot switches. I like how you can customize the foot switches to be literally whatever you want. I like that it has 9 different layouts. So you can get to your presets really easily. You can get to your scenes and your stomps and your channels and your looper and all kinds of different stuff. It really can do everything, which is why showing you stuff like this. I need to go back to my fractal scene here. Just the fact that you have one amp block with 4 different channels that you can make those channels be literally anything. That is super powerful because a lot of times in the Toemaster Pro presets, I will have like a Fender Princeton, or let's just say I have a Fender Twin. Then when I add a EVH 5150 blue channel, then I want to add a Vox amp. And sometimes I run out of DSP just adding those 3 amps. So I'm not able to add other effects that I really want to add into the preset. So Fractal is really smart and intuitive in that way. And you just got, you got everything right there that you need on the screen. So 4 different channels per amp per block. You got that for drives. You got that for reverbs. Now, if you change the channel on a reverb, you don't get the tails or the spillover. Same for a delay. So that's why that's also why I think it's good to go ahead and just buy the FM9 and not the FM3. So that way you can have two different delays in a signal chain. You can have two different reverbs in the signal chain, and you don't have to worry about, like, I can do stuff like this too. Let's check this out. I can go, what am I doing? I'm going to go down here. I'm going to go over. I want to go back up. So now I can do like a cool parallel, like a second delay if I wanted to. Check this out. This is pretty cool stuff. Reverb 2. So now I just added a second delay and reverb to my channel, or my chain. And let's say I want to make this a, let's make it like a cathedral. Or let's say I want to make it a, like a shimmery type thing. So what I'm doing right here is I have my main signal right here. Then I have a separate reverb in parallel. So okay, let's change it to one more reverb. Let's do the deep. Or this one's cool, the Fields of Peary. You got that little extra tail on the end there. Now, I will say this about Kemper. I love the reverbs and delays on the Kemper, but you are limited to essentially 4 blocks before the amp and 4 blocks after the amp. And sometimes you don't always get that flexibility of, well, I guess you do get the flexibility. Like in one bank, you have essentially 5 presets that you can switch between, and you have the morph function. So you can morph in and out between like low reverb settings and higher reverb settings, and you can just smoothly go between them, which is really cool. But I still think even what I did here, having the ability to have, any block show up wherever you want, right? I can go from here and go like way up here if I wanted to, like just something stupid. Then I can make that one a like a chorus, right? I can do stuff like this. So now you have your dry sound still going through the middle, but you have a chorus in parallel, and you have another delay and reverb in parallel. Let's go with another delay. Actually, let's go with this. I'll show you something really cool. I'm going to right-click on here, go to my pitch delay, or my plex delay, and there's some really nice, here's like a cool shimmer. Make sure we turn the mix up nice and loud. Turn off my tremolo there. right, so here's my predictions for 2026. This is what I'm going to be doing most of the time. I'll still be doing Headrush content. I'll still be doing Toemaster Pro content. I'll have the Fractal stuff on a separate channel. I will primarily be doing one live stream a week and one review video a week, for sure. And then, but those reviews might be, you know, a Toemaster Pro or a Headrush or something like that. And then I might be reviewing other units. Like I currently got, I just got this in the mail today, the DJI Osmo little Steadicam smartphone stabilizer for the smartphone, which is cool. Then I also got a DJI mic, so one receiver and dual transmitters. So if I'm talking or somebody else is talking, it'll capture both of us. And then I got this is more for like interview style stuff, but I got a DJI, I can't say it right. What's going on here? Let's get these pulled out. Oh, okay. This is going to fall. This is just, I could have used literally anything for this. This is just more of a fancier way of being more professional looking, I guess, in video. If I'm going for that more professional kind of look. But this is basically a hand stick. You can attach the DJI transmitter in there. Let me go back to this view. I don't have these open just yet, but I could be like, hey, this is Doctor McFarland live at the NAMM Show 2026, and we're at the booth of so-and-so, you know, that kind of thing. And then I can attach the one of the transmitters on their shirt, so I can be talking, and they can just talk freely without having to have a handheld thing, and they can just talk, which is cool. I also have picked up two Sony ZV-1Fs, just little handheld cameras that I can also put on a different gimbal type thing that I have and walk around with that. So yeah, I just have a slew of new camera stuff for the channel that I can utilize for different things, and it'll be fun. So I haven't even taken this stuff out of the box yet. I'm just literally just got it today. But I'm trying to get all my spending out of the way before the new year, because I really am. I'm really going to try to have a no spend 2026. I've literally gone crazy the last few years, and I am not wanting for anything at this point. I have some cool basic guitars. I have plenty of electric guitars. I have a mandolin. I have a acoustic guitar. I have some amplifiers from Quilter sitting around that's really good. I have the Fender FR12, a full range flat response thing. I got the Fractal FM9, Toemaster Pro. I got a Headrush Core. I got my Zildjian Alchemy kit back here that I got earlier this year. And what else? What else really do I need? I still have my Elisa's piano over to my left. You can see there. I don't need anything else for the studio. There's just really nothing else I need. I got my cameras. I got my gear. I can make all the music and all the videos I'll ever want. Right. Now with that, and this I'll end the stream with this. I do have affiliate partnership with Zounds.com, which means I can literally just request any piece of gear that are available through Zounds, and they can send it to me. I can review it, then I can send it back. So a lot of the reviews I will be doing this year will be Zounds affiliate, sponsored or Zounds sponsored. So with that said, I do have affiliate links down in the description of all my videos. If you are shopping on Amazon, like you've already done this Christmas season or this holiday season, and you're not clicking through my link first, then you're not giving me any commission on what you buy, and you're not helping to support the channel in that way. So the next time you go shop on Amazon, just go to one of my videos, click on the affiliate link, and then that way I'll get a little bit of kickback on anything that you buy, whether that's toilet paper or a new toothbrush or a new guitar or some kind of like camera gear. I bought all this stuff off of Amazon, camera gear type stuff. So then there's also Sweetwater. So if you really enjoy shopping at Sweetwater and you also want to help support the channel, then click on my Sweetwater link. And then lastly, if you find a really good deal or see something that I review on my channel from Zounds and you want to help support the channel that way, and you want to buy something through Zounds.com, then just click on my link, go purchase what you're going to buy anyways, and then I'll get a commission based off of that. So I also have some things on my website. It's still drmcfarlandstudios.com, but I've transferred over from podia.com to payhip.com, which is really just the back end of the website, allowing me to create products, whether that's downloadable presets for all these different units that I review, or it could be anatomy of music course where I talk about music theory and how to apply it to any instrument that you want, or there may be the Headrush bundle, which I do go live once a month, doing my live Headrush building stuff, which I might do that on the Fractal channel as well. That might be kind of cool. Though through my Ecamm software, I'm only allowed to support technically one email, and I can't stream to a Fractal channel if I already have it connected to my Dr. McFarland channel. So there's kind of the caveat on that. So I may not be doing any live streams on the Fractal stuff unless I want to do it through like StreamYard or something, which I can do that. But let me know if you want to see some live streams on Fractal. Otherwise, I'll just do a bunch of pre-made videos and do it that way. So Andrew says, talking about the FM9, just get an FM9 at that point, save some money and headaches. That's what I would totally do. That's what I would do if I was in your situation. So that's really all I got on my end of the world here in Nashville, just south of Nashville, Tennessee. I got the gear that I need. I got the camera stuff that I need. 2026, I'm just going to keep on rolling into the new year and just have fun producing other bands that I've already been doing, working with singer-songwriters. I'm working with a guy over in Norway right now, trying to finish up some songs. About to start a project with a guy over in California, who's also a Harrison Mixbus user, and or at least a fan anyway. So yeah, I got some studio projects here going on in the new year, and that's about it. So I want to hear from you guys. Leave your comments down below after this video is over, and let me know what your favorite gear was for 2025 and what you're looking forward to in the new year 2026. And with all that said, I am Dr. McFarland. I'll see you in the next video. Keep rocking.